Hello, hello. Trading is closed on September 22nd, 2020. Kind of an interesting day of trading today. I think tomorrow is going to be very consequential. We'll go over that in just a minute. First, to keep all the attorneys in the audience happy, this is my plan for tomorrow. Can't guarantee it's right. Trade at your own risk. Please follow the rules. Anybody who wants to contact me, here's my address. The webinar is tomorrow after the close of trading. Anybody who wants a direct link, you can email me. You can also just copy this if you wish. Any questions about a particular day, please let me know ahead of time. We've scheduled it for just after the close. No, I haven't used this Zoom system before, and if it takes me a bit long to sign on, and it's like 6 minutes after the close, don't come after me with a stick. But the plan is I'm going to try to sign on around the time of the close and start the webinar shortly thereafter. So much for the preliminaries. This is kind of an interesting day. Let's go over our calls. First of all, we look for the pattern with the early high. This is it. Tomorrow's pattern also has the early high. The day normally is a negative day, but I looked for higher prices. Here's what we said. Unless we promptly reversed yesterday's close, we thought we'd see higher prices, which we did. Now, normally, when this pattern closes higher instead of lower, it leads to further gains. The catch is if you gap and promptly undercut this low, tomorrow's open is a substitute for today's close, and then the bullish pattern's ruined. Then you have the normal negative pattern. So we're going to see how likely it is we get such a gap and undercutting of this low tomorrow. A number of things concern me. We had this big drop on Monday. We've rallied for nearly 2 full days, and all that's happened is we've closed the gap. To really accomplish something, this rally should go over this high. And even though we came close, that hasn't happened. So when you have an impulsive move down, a quick move down, and a struggling move up, you really have to get follow through. You really have to clear this high to show this is the real thing. Otherwise, this is the move that counts, and that's just a slow attempt to recover, fill the gap, and then you're at least vulnerable to having another sharp drop. MEJT in the afternoon gave a signal to buy. That worked. It didn't say we'd go up as much as we did. It just sets a higher target, and that target printed pretty quickly, but doesn't have to stop right at the target. The critical thing for me isn't this reversal bar at the lower Bollinger Band. That's usually a positive, particularly when you get follow through. The critical thing for me is this TDST line. There's support, a bar under it. Then we printed a bar completely under it. As far as I'm concerned, support failed. You could promptly reverse it. That didn't happen. All you did was recover to this low. So I'm viewing this as a negative pattern on the daily chart. Now here's the wave count I've been using, and I'm looking for a wave blue C, which is a close cousin of this wave blue A, and so far we haven't seen it. But it has dropped over 300 points, almost 400 to be honest, and there's nothing to say it won't have a close resemblance to this if we undercut yesterday's low promptly. Now here was the original count, and this one certainly is compatible with this leg being over, because you have an ABC with good fibs. But of course that isn't the only way to count things. This is the alternate count that I had, and I don't have good fibs with this one, so according to this count, it's possible we could still keep going up. But that isn't the only other count. Here's an alternate count with great fibs. Here's your A, here's your B. You'll notice wave blue A has a great ABC. Here's your ABC for B with C equal to A. Here you've got a clear, clean 5 waves up. And the last wave is also 5 waves up. And there's a good fib relationship between blue C and blue A. So, to my way of thinking, this is a very plausible count. And if it's the right count, we should get wave black C, somewhat resembling wave black A. And if it's the right count, we should gap and promptly undercut this low. We don't know yet if that's going to happen, but I'm expecting to know by tomorrow's open, or at least shortly after tomorrow's open. Wednesday's pattern has the early high. Doesn't mean you won't gap down. Today's pattern usually has a close near the low. When it doesn't, you expect further gains. But, here's the but, if you gap down, promptly undercut today's low, that kills the entire pattern. I think it's entirely possible. I think it's possible because the rally merely recovered back to the point of Monday's gap down. And there are pretty clear wave counts compatible with this rally being over. So anyone who's long here, I think it's pretty risky to hold along overnight in this situation. Of course, there's always risk. So, tomorrow's pattern is the early high. All the bulls need to do is to continue going up, clear this, and you've got a bullish pattern. But if we gap down smartly, undercut this low, we should be in for a very steep drop lasting more than a day. And I think by tomorrow's open, it's going to be clear whether or not that happens. So we'll see a lot of you at the webinar tomorrow, and that is today's call.